¿Lo explicas ya o esperamos a que lleguen tus damas de honor?
Rachel runs into Monica after not having talked in ages wearing a wedding dress. Stay tuned to find out why and how the rest of the friends will react as you learn some handy Spanish vocab.
Vamos, eres soltero, libera tus hormonas.
A mí nunca me ha gustado estar soltero, ¿entiendes? Solo quiero volver a casarme lo antes posible.
Y yo solo quiero $1.000.000.
¿Rachel?
Oh, gracias a Dios, Mónica, por fin te encuentro. He pasado por tu casa, pero había un señor con un martillo enorme que me dijo que a lo mejor estabas aquí. ¡Lo estás, lo estás!
¿Le apetece una taza de café?
Descafeinado. Ven, atención todo el mundo. Esta es Rachel, una antigua amiga del colegio. Os presentaré. Este es Chandler, esta es Phoebe, ese es Joey y... ¿te acuerdas de mi hermano Ross?
¡Claro! ¡Hola!
¿Lo explicas ya o esperamos a que lleguen tus damas de honor?
Vamos, eres soltero, libera tus hormonas.
Eres soltero here means you're single. In this scene, since soltero is being used as a noun, it means bachelor. However, it can also be used as an adjective to mean that someone is single or unmarried. For example, ya no es soltero. Libera here means set free. Libera comes from the verb liberar, which means to release, to free, or to relieve. Another example of libera would be correr libera el estrés. Here, Joey is telling Ross to let loose since he's currently single after divorcing his wife.
Vamos, eres soltero, libera tus hormonas.
A mí nunca me ha gustado estar soltero, ¿entiendes?
Estar soltero here means being single. But didn't soltero go with the verb ser in the previous clip? Eres soltero, you're single. In most cases, you have to choose between the verbs ser or estar, which both mean to be. In the previous case, soltero was used as a noun which always goes with the verb ser. In this case, however, it's used as an adjective. Adjectives that express marital status like soltero, single, or viudo, widower, can be used with both verbs, ser or estar. So you can say, no estoy soltero, I am not single, and you can also say, él es padre soltero, he's a single father. Here, Ross is telling us that he loves being married, which becomes something of a running joke in the show.
A mí nunca me ha gustado estar soltero, ¿entiendes? Solo quiero volver a casarme lo antes posible.
Quiero volver a here means I want to get. It is not a literal translation. Quiero comes from the verb querer, which means to want. Volver means to return or to go back, while a means to. So, quiero volver a casarme literally translates to I want to go back to marrying. A more natural translation is I want to get married again. Don't worry, Ross, I'm sure you'll get your wish soon enough.
Solo quiero volver a casarme lo antes posible.
Y yo solo quiero $1.000.000.
¿Rachel?
Solo here means just. The meaning of solo may change depending on if it's being used as an adjective or as an adverb. If used as an adjective, solo means alone or simple. For example, se siente muy solo. If used as an adverb, solo means only, but, or just. For example, solo tiene un hijo. Here, Chandler is testing if the universe will also answer his prayers.
Y yo solo quiero $1.000.000.
¿Rachel?
Oh, gracias a Dios, Mónica, por fin te encuentro.
Por fin here means finally. Por can mean of or for, while fin literally means end or purpose. Together, they form the expression por fin, which can mean finally or at last. For example, por fin llegas. Here, Rachel has been looking high and low for Monica, so she's glad she's finally found her.
Oh, gracias a Dios, Mónica, por fin te encuentro. He pasado por tu casa, pero había un señor con un martillo enorme que me dijo que a lo mejor estabas aquí. ¡Lo estás, lo estás!
He pasado por here means I went by. He comes from the verb haber, to have. Pasado comes from the verb pasar, which can mean to spend, to pass, or to go through. Por means by. The expression pasar por means to go by. For example, siempre pasan por su casa. Here, Rachel is saying that she looked in Monica's apartment before going to the coffee shop. A lo mejor here means you might be. A lo mejor is a fixed expression in Spanish, which can mean maybe or perhaps. For example, a lo mejor están enamorados. The expression lo mejor without the a means the best. For example, el postre de Rachel es lo mejor. The best way to understand the difference between phrases like a lo mejor and lo mejor is hearing them being used. So let's watch some examples.
Tú a lo mejor antes eras bailarín.
If we click on a lo mejor on these interactive subtitles, we'll see that in this context, the a lo mejor means maybe. And if we watch this other clip,
Quieres hacer lo mejor para todos.
we can see that the expression in this context and without the a means something completely different, as well as see how it's used in even more contexts.
Y lo mejor siempre espera adelante.
If you're wondering what this handy dandy tool is, it's FluentU, an app for learning Spanish with authentic videos, like movie scenes, clips from TV shows, TED Talks, and music videos. FluentU has thousands of videos, all of which have subtitles written by language experts, so you can always see the correct definition of words and expressions in that specific context. Plus, more learning resources that will get you speaking like a native, including personalized quizzes and speaking questions to make sure you remember everything you learn. Try it now for free. Just sign up for a 2-week trial using the link in the description below. Plus, FluentU is currently having a sale, so it's the perfect time to check it out.
He pasado por tu casa, pero había un señor con un martillo enorme que me dijo que a lo mejor estabas aquí. ¡Lo estás, lo estás! ¿Le apetece una taza de café?
Descafeinado.
Apetece comes from the verb apetecer, which means to feel like, to crave, or to fancy. For example, me apetece tocar la guitarra, or me apetece comerme un sándwich. Le apetece is also a very polite way of asking someone if they would like something. So it is commonly used as would you like in the service industry.
¿Le apetece una taza de café?
Descafeinado. Ven, atención todo el mundo. Esta es Rachel, una antigua amiga del colegio.
Todo el mundo here means everyone. Todo means all, while el mundo means the world. Todo el mundo as an expression can be used to mean everyone or everybody. For example, ya ha llegado todo el mundo. Todo el mundo literally means the entire world. For example, le conocen por todo el mundo. Antigua here means old. Antigua can mean old, like un antiguo novio, an old boyfriend. Antigua can also mean ancient, like una civilización antigua, an ancient civilization. Antigua can also mean former. For example, es mi antiguo jefe. Here, Monica is saying that Rachel was her friend in high school, but they've drifted apart.
Ven, atención todo el mundo. Esta es Rachel, una antigua amiga del colegio. Os presentaré. Este es Chandler, esta es Phoebe, ese es Joey.
Presentaré comes from the verb presentar, which can mean many different things. Presentar can mean introduce, like in this scene. Presentar can also mean to present, like tengo que presentar un proyecto. Presentar can also mean to submit, like for example, presenté mi solicitud. Here, Monica is just introducing all her friends to Rachel. Os presentaré a nuestro PDF gratis. Have you checked out our free PDF? It gives you easy access to all of the vocabulary that we have learned today, so you can study it whenever. Get it by clicking on the link in the description below.
Os presentaré. Este es Chandler, esta es Phoebe, ese es Joey y... ¿Te acuerdas de mi hermano Ross?
¡Claro! ¡Hola!
Te acuerdas means do you remember. Te acuerdas comes from the verb acordarse, which means to remember. For example, ya me acuerdo. Not to be confused with the verb acordar, which means to agree. For example, hemos acordado quedar en la cafetería. Here, Monica is asking Rachel if she remembers her brother Ross since they went to high school together.
¿Y te acuerdas de mi hermano Ross?
¡Claro! ¡Hola!
¿Lo explicas ya o esperamos a que lleguen tus damas de honor?
Lo explicas here means are you going to explain it? Explicas comes from the verb explicar, which means to explain. Lo explicas literally means you explain it. However, in Spanish, you can ask a whole question just by using a verb and a neutral pronoun like lo or eso. For example, ¿coges eso? Are you going to pick that up? Here, Monica is asking Rachel very sarcastically how she ended up in the coffee shop in her wedding dress. Damas de honor means bridesmaids. Damas means ladies, while de honor means honored. So, damas de honor literally means honored ladies. Fun fact, we don't have damas de honor, bridesmaids, in Spain. Instead, we have testigos, witnesses.
¿Lo explicas ya o esperamos a que lleguen tus damas de honor?
Está bien, veréis. Todo empezó media hora antes de la boda.
Veréis here means you see. Veréis comes from the verb ver, which means to see. Veréis can be used to tell a story, like Rachel is doing. Veréis, todo empezó. You see, it all started. However, it can also be used to imply future tense, in which case it translates to you will see. For example, mañana veréis todo lo que he cocinado. Tomorrow you'll see everything I've cooked. Rachel is using veréis to set up her runaway bride story. Veréis, podéis suscribiros al canal. You can subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, like Learn Spanish with telenovelas Ugly Betty.
Está bien, veréis. Todo empezó media hora antes de la boda. Entré en la habitación donde guardábamos los regalos y me quedé mirando una salsera.
Guardábamos here means were keeping. Guardábamos comes from the verb guardar, which means to save or to keep. In Spanish, you use the imperfect tense guardábamos to tell a story, while in English, you use the past continuous, were keeping. Salsera here means gravy boat. The word salsera stems from the term salsa, which means sauce. Salsa in Spanish can also refer to the dance or the sauce, in which case we say salsa roja, red sauce. Here, Rachel is giving much needed context as to why she left her wedding.
Entré en la habitación donde guardábamos los regalos y me quedé mirando una salsera. Os aseguro que es la salsera más bonita que jamás he visto. Cuando de repente, Sacarina...
Os aseguro here means I assure you. Aseguro comes from the verb asegurar, which means to assure or to ensure. For example, comer bien no asegura estar sano. Eating well doesn't ensure being healthy. De repente in this line means suddenly. Repente comes from the word repentino, which means sudden or unexpected. For example, un cambio repentino, an unexpected change. Be careful though, because you can't use repente by itself. It must always come after de.
Os aseguro que es la salsera más bonita que jamás he visto. Cuando de repente, Sacarina, me di cuenta de que aquella salsera me excitaba más que Barry.
Me di cuenta here means I realized. Di comes from the verb dar, which means to give, while cuenta means bill. However, when you put them together, darse cuenta, it means to realize or to notice. For example, casi no me di cuenta. I almost didn't notice. Me excitaba here means turned me on. Excitaba comes from the verb excitar, which means to excite, but in the sexual sense. So, although excitante sounds like exciting, it does not mean the same thing. A more appropriate translation of exciting would be emocionante. For example, esto es muy emocionante. This is very exciting. Here, Rachel is saying that right before her wedding, she realized that she wasn't attracted to Barry at all.
Me di cuenta de que aquella salsera me excitaba más que Barry. Al principio aluciné un poco, pero entonces descubrí lo mucho que Barry se parece al hombre del tiempo.
Aluciné here means I got freaked out. Aluciné comes from the verb alucinar, which literally means to hallucinate. Colloquially, however, alucinar is used to mean to amaze or to be surprised by, or, like in this scene, to get freaked out by. It makes sense that Rachel is referring to freaking out when she realizes she's not attracted to Barry and not to having an actual hallucination. Descubrir here means realized. Descubrir comes from the verb descubrir, which besides realize can also mean to discover or to find. For example, he descubierto dónde está. I found out where she is. Here, Rachel is talking about discovering something that she didn't know she felt towards Barry, indifference.
Al principio aluciné un poco, pero entonces descubrí lo mucho que Barry se parece al hombre del tiempo. Ya me entendéis, me resultaba alguien familiar, pero... ¿Qué más da?
¿Qué más da? Here means anyway. ¿Qué means that, más means more, and da means give. When put together, the expression ¿qué más da? Means what difference does it make, whatever, or anyway. It's a fixed expression used to dismiss a thought or an opinion. Here, Rachel just doesn't want to explain the weatherman comment.
Ya me entendéis, me resultaba alguien familiar, pero... ¿Qué más da? Tenía que largarme de allí, así que empecé a preguntarme por...
Largarme de here means get out of. Largarme comes from the verb largarse, which means to take off or to skedaddle. For example, voy a largarme. I'm going to take off. This expression doesn't have anything to do with the word largo, which means long. Empecé a preguntarme means I started to wonder. Empecé comes from empezar, which means to start. Preguntarme comes from the verb preguntar, which means to ask. When used in the reflexive, preguntarme means to ask oneself or to wonder. For example, me pregunto de qué estarán hablando. I wonder what they're talking about. Here, Rachel is talking about needing to leave and starting to question her life choices.
Tenía que largarme de allí, así que empecé a preguntarme por qué estoy haciendo esto y por quién lo estoy haciendo.
¿Por qué here means why. There are 4 types of por qué. Por qué, separately and with an accent, is used in a direct question to mean why. Por qué, together and with an accent, is a noun that means reason. For example, no te voy a explicar el por qué. I'm not going to explain the reason. Por qué, with no accent and just one word, means because. It's used as an answer. For example, porque te quiero. Because I love you. Finally, por qué, with no accent and in 2 words, is a preposition plus a conjunction. Here is an example of how it's used. Reza porque no vuelva a ocurrir. Pray that it doesn't happen again. Then Rachel asks, ¿por quién? Which here means for who. Por means for, while quién means who, whom, or whose. For example, no saben de quién es ese jersey. They don't know whose sweater that is. Unlike por qué, quién only has 2 variations. With an accent, used in direct and indirect questions, or without an accent. For example, Ross, quien está enamorado de Rachel. Ross, who is in love with Rachel. Rachel is wondering why she ever agreed to marry Barry.
¿Por qué estoy haciendo esto y por quién lo estoy haciendo? La verdad es que no sabía dónde ir y ya sé que con el tiempo nos hemos ido distanciando, pero...
Nos hemos ido distanciando here means we've drifted apart. Hemos ido means to have. Distanciando comes from the verb distanciar, which means to distance. However, the expression to drift apart is a much more natural translation of distanciarse when talking about emotional distance. Here, Rachel is getting ready to ask for a big favor by pulling on Monica's heartstrings.
La verdad es que no sabía dónde ir y ya sé que con el tiempo nos hemos ido distanciando, pero eres la única persona que conozco en la ciudad.
Conozco comes from the verb conocer, which means to know. Conocer can also mean to meet. For example, Rachel ha conocido a la novia de Ross. Rachel has met Ross's girlfriend. If you add the prefix reconocer, it means to recognize. Here, Rachel is telling Monica that she had no one else to turn to.
Eres la única persona que conozco en la ciudad.
Y la única que no invitaste a la boda.
Única here means only one, referring to Monica. Única can mean only or unique. Única is the feminine form of the noun, while único is the masculine form. For example, es un cuadro único. It's a unique painting. Monica might feel a bit salty about being asked such a huge favor after not being invited to the wedding.
Y la única que no invitaste a la boda.
Esperaba que no te lo tomaras tan a pecho.
Tomaras tan a pecho here means take to heart. Tomaras comes from the verb tomar, which means to take. Tan literally means so. Tan is a shortened version of the word tanto, which means so much. Tan can also be used to start a comparison, in which case it translates to as. For example, bailas tan bien como tu hermana. You dance as well as your sister. Pecho means chest. The expression tomar a pecho means take to heart. The opposite expression would be tomar a la ligera, to take lightly. Here, Rachel is revealing that she expected things to go her way without really having to try. Now we're going to watch the whole scene without subtitles to see how much you've learned.
Vamos, eres soltero, libera tus hormonas.
A mí nunca me ha gustado estar soltero, ¿entiendes? Solo quiero volver a casarme lo antes posible.
Y yo solo quiero $1.000.000.
¿Rachel?
Oh, gracias a Dios, Mónica, por fin te encuentro. He pasado por tu casa, pero había un señor con un martillo enorme que me dijo que a lo mejor estabas aquí. Lo estás.
¿Le apetece una taza de café?
Descafeinado. Ven, atención todo el mundo. Esta es Rachel, una antigua amiga del colegio. Os presentaré. Este es Chandler, esta es Phoebe, ese es Joey y... ¿te acuerdas de mi hermano Ross?
¡Claro! Hola.
¿Lo explicas ya o esperamos a que lleguen tus damas de honor?
Está bien, veréis. Todo empezó media hora antes de la boda. Entré en la habitación donde guardábamos los regalos y me quedé mirando una salsera. Os aseguro que es la salsera más bonita que jamás he visto. Cuando de repente, Sacarina, me di cuenta de que aquella salsera me excitaba más que Barry. Al principio aluciné un poco, pero entonces descubrí lo mucho que Barry se parece al hombre del tiempo. Ya me entendéis, me resultaba alguien familiar, pero... ¿qué más da? Tenía que largarme de allí, así que empecé a preguntarme por qué estoy haciendo esto y por quién lo estoy haciendo. La verdad es que no sabía dónde ir y ya sé que con el tiempo nos hemos ido distanciando, pero eres la única persona que conozco en la ciudad.
Y la única que no invitaste a la boda.
Esperaba que no te lo tomaras tan a pecho.
In this next video, Phoebe helps Rachel realize something about her feelings for Ross. So go find out what happens in that Friends episode as you learn more Spanish vocab and enjoy more Rachel Green relationship drama.